Good evening, everybody. I am Wexter, and this is another episode of the Humcast. And today with me, I've got Brent, also known as the 42 Gamer.
Hey, I'm back again.
I've got Lido.
Good evening, everyone.
The one and only Heavenly.
Hello.
And of course, the trombone master himself, David.
Hey guys.
And with us today is a special guest, Hummingbird.me's very own Josh.
What is this place?
Shh. Don't worry about the ropes. Don't worry about the bag. We just need you to talk clearly.
I'll do whatever you ask.
Nice.
Good. Now tell us about what you've been watching recently, Josh.
Not enough. So I just finished Brotherhood. It took me a year to finish that.
A year. That's impressive. I probably finished it like 4 times in that year.
And I also watched the first episode of Parasite, which was pretty good.
You need to keep watching that. And that's all I'm gonna say. The background on that is if you didn't know, I think the manga ended in 1995. I think it started in like
Oh wow,
1980s. It's an extremely old manga, and so far it's been adapted beautifully.
Yeah, it was pretty. So I saw. Yeah, actually, the reason I started watching it because I saw a music video, and I just saw like the creepy weird hand thing. So like I had to like reverse the video to see what anime that was. And I started watching it because of that video. But yeah, it's really impressive me about how good it is, despite being weird as shit.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It is an older manga, and they've done a lot of things. They've updated some character designs to make them more modern looking. They've added a nice silent touch in a few different places that I really, really like. I love how it's going so far.
And it's Madhouse, right?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
it is Madhouse.
Is it Madhouse? On Hummingbird, we don't have that.
Yeah.
So that needs fixed.
I also
They're,
like how they updated a lot of their technology, so like everyone has smartphones and like tablets and stuff. It makes it feel very modern day.
Yeah, they did a lot of that just to kind of give it a character. Just everything's just been modernized is what they did, and they did it in a solid way. They didn't do it in a way that's evasive or overly changing it. They did it in a good way.
Madhouse
which
is pretty
very
good
rare.
with adaptations, though.
Yeah.
Mostly, especially when they're doing manga. Like they did Death Note and stuff like that. So
Brotherhood. How was it? You know,
Uh,
we recently talked about Brotherhood.
Yeah, we
I don't
talked
know if you
in
know or
about it.
not.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So the reason I couldn't finish it a year ago was because I started watching it immediately after watching the first. And like it was so
That's
much of
what I
it was like the
mean.
fucking same in the beginning. Like the episodes were almost identical. So like I just couldn't get into it because I felt like I was just watching the show over again. And you know, continuing it this year, I had forgotten a lot of what happened. So it was much easier to get up to the point where it started to branch into manga territory. So yeah, I think it was much better than the first incarnation of it.
Did you read the manga too?
I didn't.
Or-
No, I don't. I haven't really read any manga at all since like Yu Yu Hakusho in high school.
No, it's cool.
Oh, ha.
But when that bridge comes, you know who to talk to. I've got you hooked up with everything you need to read.
Yeah.
So you've been on Monster for a long time.
Yeah, like a year.
This monster's so good.
It's so
It
long.
really
That's my
is
problem.
good.
It's so long for me. Like I know it's not like One Piece long, but I have a hard time finishing shows that are in the 60-episode range. Like 20 episodes is perfect for me because I can finish it in a weekend.
You just gotta treat them as 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
You know, consider them 25 episodes each and 50 episodes right there.
Season
Maybe
2.
a bit more, right? You got season 2 to fall back on.
But Monster is amazing. I really enjoy
Oh,
it.
so
I do
good.
plan on finishing
How
it.
far
It
did you get?
progressively gets better.
Because I got to episode 12. Like I've been there for months now. Because I'm stuck in it too. Unfortunately. But
Yeah, I mean, it
Looks
starts
like
pretty
he
slow.
doubled you.
Yeah.
It does.
But I think I'm in around 20, episode 20 or so.
yeah, you're further than me. I got to like 12. Where he met that little kid in the hospital.
You're at that part.
It's just the beginning.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, you don't understand, David. I just started collecting like the Viz has republished Monster, and
The
it-
manga?
Saw that, yes.
and it is beautifully redone. They got the colored prints. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But David, you're about to get into some of the most messed up thing
Yeah.
ever.
I love Monster so much.
Monster's an amazing anime. It is not afraid to tread on darkness, which is what makes it
Like,
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were times where like I was literally on the edge of my seat watching Monster. Like,
I won't go
It
into.
is a solid anime. Yeah, you can't talk about Monster, like that's half the rules though. It's like, how do you talk about Monster if you can't talk about Monster?
Yeah, I mean,
That's Madhouse too.
So I think the best part of Monster, in my opinion, was the second episode, where they had the beach episode. I love seeing everyone in their bathing suits.
what monster?
Right, so who invited Josh again? Needs to be- someone's getting kicked.
No, one of the best moments of Monster, I think, of the entire series, and I'm not going to spoil it because David and Josh are both working their ways through it. It has to be like the final 10-episode stretch. It's the
Oh,
most
yes.
intense, spine-chilling moments in anime, period.
Really? So
Sounds awesome.
definitely.
You're really selling it. I'm really gonna.
Yeah, you're pretty selling it pretty strong, Wexter. Even I want to
Alright.
watch it.
No, I mean, it's
Too bad
the
you
last
can't
10
buy it.
episodes.
now I feel like I need to finish it.
Oh, it's the most heartbreaking thing ever when you realize that the anime's out of print.
Yeah.
Mhm. And only 12 episodes were put on DVD for us.
I mean, at least you
Well-
get an HBO, right?
Oh, yes!
Oh yeah, freaking! They're gonna make a live action version of it.
Yeah, on HBO nonetheless. That's gonna.
Oh,
be
wow,
awesome.
really?
I don't watch TV, but if anything, that's where it's gonna be. Yeah,
I hope
Uh-huh.
so.
That's gonna be.
they
so
talked
cool.
about it. I don't know.
I know,
don't know
it
what
was
the plans
talked
are.
about, like, but I'm always skeptical when anime like ventures into
Yeah.
live action territory because half the time.
Monster
they have
is
plans.
originally a novel, though.
Yeah.
I think what makes Monster like this very easy thing to adapt into live action is the fact that it all takes place in Germany. It's all in Germany.
And it's real life too. It's
And
not like
yeah. And there's only one Japanese, I think there's like maybe one Japanese character in the entire series.
I think there's
Main character.
2 or 3.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Like
My memory
I know
on the-
Dr. Tenma is.
Yeah, Dr. Tem is like the only Japanese character, so that makes it very easy for them to cast the characters as well without having fans go, this character's not the race they're supposed to be. Goku, Dragon Ball Evolution, this is the end of the world, the
Oh
apocalypse.
God,
To be fair,
it would not be like that. Yeah,
I did think Dragon Ball Evolution was
Yeah.
the end of the world.
yeah.
Such a humongous letdown.
So what is really bugging me about your list, Josh? I'm calling you out on
Oh,
it
no.
right now. You have not completed Aldenoa Zero.
So, all right, I'm gonna justify this.
Justify, do it.
I watched I think it was Demolition D's video on it, and he kind of just
Yeah.
eviscerated it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I watched it too.
So I think at that point I was just like, well, I may as well just drop this now. So the thing is, I don't have a ton of time to watch anime, so I like to like watch shit that's quality when I am watching it.
Aldenoa is quality, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The first episode
That's
kind
my
of like
opinion.
was very meh to me. I wasn't really feeling it.
It gets better.
It does.
Parasite I'm loving.
I've heard opposite. I keep hearing these different opinions. I don't know. Like, I really want to watch Aldenoa Zero,
Yeah.
but I keep hearing it's very divisive. Like,
Yeah.
from an outsider's perspective, because it's like a lot of people really, really liked it and thought it was really cool, and like others have been disappointed. But I know there are a bunch of people that dislike Gen Urobuchi, and well, he only did the first episode, but
Yeah, no, he was only the I think he was like the scenario writer, as in like he writes the plot line.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
he doesn't necessarily write each episode. Like yeah.
The issue with watching Aldenoa Zero like that is it progressively changes as you watch it. The first few episodes don't represent the next 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
They change almost that much.
Yeah, I'm also not a huge fan of mechs. I always kind of felt that the mech
That's
genre
all.
as a whole
Leicester just
Oh, yes.
died on
fucking
the inside.
stupid.
I felt it.
No, I mean it's Max, so we get it.
Like I remember coming home from high school, or maybe it was middle school. I don't even know. But I remember coming home from school, like rushing home, and goddamn Gundam had replaced Dragon Ball Z's time slot.
Oh no!
And Dragon Ball Z,
Blood feud.
Dragon Ball Z was like pushed up to like 2:30, and then Gundam was set to like 3 p.m. And like I got home at like 3:10 every day. So I remember just being fucking
So you got, like,
furious
this.
about Gundam, and I hated it ever since.
So you got like an emotional.
I do.
trauma
I have some
against Gundam.
emotional scarring due to Gundam. And it was so stupid too. It's such a stupid
That's
show.
why his face is stuck like that.
Waxer's
if
gonna
any-
go into a corner. And
If anybody listening likes Gundam, please just turn this podcast off. Get out of here.
All right, Wexter. I think it's time for you to leave.
All right, Wexter, we'll talk to you later.
Oh, that hurt right in the soul. Right in the soul. Right. That I think that digged deeper. than the
I without a doubt understand your.
I feel like Will
your
Wheaton right
ordeal
now,
with
and I just meant William Shatner. I'm here
I think
in my like
Gundam-
Earth Federation uniform, going, "Ooh, I'm gonna meet Josh," and then it's just like, "What the f- are you wearing? Get that shit out of here!"
Josh, you've officially become the douchebag celebrity.
But so,
I kid.
How could you?
to be fair,
How
to
could
be
you?
fair, I might enjoy it now, but I just remember like as a kid it was very political and very boring to me, and I just wanted like
Mech?
Yeah.
20 minutes of powering up. That's all I wanted in my life at the time. And Gundam stole that from me. It seeped it from my soul.
But you got the mid-season upgrade.
No.
No, if you want something that you can really respect Gundam in my opinion, as someone who does not really like Gundam that much, Gundam 00 is where it's at. I think you can easily respect Gundam if you watch it.
Yeah, I mean,
Double O some
thing about-
nice shit.
The thing about mech, though, is that not every mech is Gundam. And even Gundam is, like, totally different
Yeah.
a lot of ways per each one.
Not even Gundam is Gundam.
And, like, the reason mech is so popular is because, there's so much you can do with it. And there's so
I
much
think
that...
Mech is the equivalent of Dragon Ball Z.
Like-
Mech is the Japanese version.
Like, if you haven't seen, like, Gurren Lagann, like, there's your powering up. Like, go for it, because
No.
that'll get you there. If you want...
yeah, I
Or
actually
you
I
can
haven't.
get like.
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I haven't watched Gurren Lagann, and I wanted to up until someone spoiled a character's death very early in the series. And it was like
Oh.
the character I thought was the coolest in like what I'd seen of the show. So
Oh,
Who doesn't think he is the coolest?
I'll let you know that it's still worth watching after that point.
Is it?
Because that death is so impactful that it carries some characters through the series.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like you gotta accept it is the thing.
Yeah, it's...
You can't hear about it and then shut the show off because then you're just left with an uncompleted message. You know, it's kind of like it's you just gotta keep watching. It does get better and saner. I guess that's better in Gurren Lagann
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like I just fucking hate mech. So for one, like, what the hell? Robot hands are the most retarded shit I've ever heard of. Like, why? Why does a robot
Hey.
have hands? Just so he can hold a
Um,
giant energy sword? I feel like that's the only reason.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Why do robots have faces?
They don't
Like,
need them.
Why are they
There's no
shaped
reason
like
to have
people?
that. It's a disadvantage, really. It's an inherent
But-
flaw.
But it looks cool.
Yeah,
But it gives you something to grab on when you're stabbing them like multiple
But that's
times.
like asking why you need the Canadian arm up in space, man. It's for picking up stuff.
I don't think that's the same at all. Actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's the
You
same.
don't.
No,
Yeah, no.
not even
But
close.
it does look cool. Lexter's right about that. It does look cool. Like when robots are, holding guns, because why would a robot actually need to hold a gun
Right.
like a gun?
Like, you just
My-
build the
my
gun into the
issue with
robot. Why do
that-
you need to fucking hold it so you can drop it? It makes no sense.
My issue with that is I feel like when I watch Gundams fight or mechas fight in general, I feel like I'm not really getting a fight. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
getting a metal bashing thing. Like I like to watch the blood splatter when someone's
Oh,
arm gets
bro,
cut. That's what I like.
When the cockpits get crushed in some of those Gundam series, it's some of the most
but
grisly things.
It's not enough for me though. Like
Oh,
you take Sword of the Stranger kind of thing. Like I like to
Yeah.
see the blood.
Sword of the
being split.
Stranger is
Oh, no.
just dope as hell. But like I don't know, it's just not for me.
I get it.
Then again,
It doesn't appeal to
who has
everybody.
not seen the perfect combination of multiple genres ever? Fantasy, mecha, and shoujo.
Power Rangers.
No.
What? No.
Wait,
No?
what?
Wait, Power Rangers had shoujo.
Power Rangers doesn't have shoujo?
Yeah, bro. Just hadn't watched enough.
Fantasy shoujo. Please don't tell me that's what I think it is.
What is it?
Escaflowne.
I'm not picking up on it.
Esclavone!
Can we talk about that
Uh,
when Luke's here, because I know he just watched it. So yeah.
We will. It's awesome.
What about the
Yeah,
rest of
it
you guys?
is,
What have you guys
it
been
is.
watching? Like
You
Some
know,
of the
Like,
I've been watching a show that I found by accident. It's called Poyo Poyo in English. The Japanese name won't probably do anything, and it's a really strange show. It's a show about a completely round cat,
Okay.
and it's a seinen slice of life, so it doesn't really have a plot, and it's just funny humor.
first of all,
But
the first the Hummingbird mean score for this one is 3.77, and I'm surprised by that because it was made in 2012 by Studio Dean,
It's also a 3-minute episode
Yeah.
series.
which is very bizarre. From Dean, I think.
I don't know, but it's just so enjoyable because one of the problems I'm now experiencing is that all these high school things are, well, back there. I'm a bit older. And so this seinen slice of life has all the humor in it that I now think is really funny, and it's really enjoyable to watch it.
I'm not a huge fan of the short series, but yeah, they're not bad every once in a while. And the slice of life stuff isn't too bad. I usually go to manga to get that, just because I feel like there's more of it there than there is in anime.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you can watch a lot of or read a lot of 4-panel stuff,
Right.
Mm.
and you can just digest that crap like nobody's business.
I mean, I do that normally, but yeah. I digest a lot of stuff. Cookies, water. You should know that stuff. No, I mean...
Wait, do you actually digest
yeah,
water?
I'm...
What a thing.
No.
Anyways,
You probably can.
maybe dirty water, right?
Yeah.
Maybe,
Like what?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the digestive
Would
system.
pure water
bugs
just
in it.
pass
I'm a
right
nerd.
through
What do I know?
All
You
right.
need to know.
No, for what I've been watching, I've got all the ongoing stuff. Just like normal. Been watching Haruhi again.
Yeah.
It's worth it just for the
Just
disappearance.
broke through the Endless Eight. Watched all of those again. Probably like the third or fourth time I've watched them again.
In full?
So it's more like the endless, I don't know, 20 something.
It's worth it for the disappearance, though.
Oh, the endless
Yeah,
is...
you see, I keep getting told that, but
Have you not seen
we'll
the
find
disappearance
out.
yet?
No, I have not.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
I watched Haruhi before the disappearance came out.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Basically the series for that is basically just the foundation for the movie. Basically,
David?
it's a massive foundation, but it's what it
You
is.
see, Wexler tried to pull this on me too, and I'm gonna say that movie needs to be something that puts Fate Zero to shame, that makes Monster look uneducated, and just makes all my shoujo manga just seem unemotional.
Well, it's sort of.
I'm
it's
expecting
different.
something god tier
It's
from it.
it's pretty
David,
different.
David, share your gushing for after he's watched the disappearance and we're in
Okay, yeah,
Haruhi
okay.
cast.
Okay, yeah, for
Uh-huh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
But
think-
yeah, I've been starving my way through that, so that's been questionable.
Yeah, I haven't been watching any airing series because internet, but I watched Welcome to the NHK, and it was amazing.
It is.
Just gotta say,
Hentai game, right?
Have you have any of you guys else watched it? It's
I
about
watched
4
it when
episodes
I
in.
got laid off.
Oh,
Worst
Oh.
idea
Ooh.
ever.
like for those of you who don't know, like NHK is about like basically a shut-in, and he just like lives in his apartment building with and his like neighbors next door, and he's basically like it basically pokes fun at what otakus basically are now. That
I mean, in Japan, you got hikikomoris,
Yeah.
which are essentially just shut-ins. Not necessarily otakus.
Yeah.
Usually one and the same, but like they can do just nothing but games or whatever.
yeah, it really sort of makes fun of that sort of culture though. Like
Yeah.
especially like his friend too, like, and it's very like period specific, like most like good black comedies are. Like I don't know if you guys have seen like Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove, but
Nope.
Nope.
that's a live action
Nope.
movie. But like it's period specific because of everyone was afraid of the atomic bomb. But this is like period specific on a different level, because it just shows what kind of society we live in nowadays, where people just shut themselves in and they just don't do anything. And it really kind of spoke to me. It was pretty good.
It told you a thing or two about yourself.
Yeah,
Everything.
sort of.
Uh,
David, you gotta stop being shut in.
Yeah, pretty sure I had a breakthrough after that. It was pretty good.
Yeah. No, the story and the characters were probably the best part of it because everything else was kind of.
Well, okay, so the animation wasn't that great, but it's Gonzo. So Gonzo's like, I've only seen a few things by Gonzo, and I've like hated how every single one of them have looked. Basically, I've seen Bakurano, I've seen some of Basilisk, and I've seen.
You hated
I
Basilisk.
hate the character designs, man. I really do. They're
You
so
hated
ugly.
Basilisk.
They're so ugly.
You hated
Let's
Basilisk.
Yes,
unleash
I
the
did.
changes.
Oh man, how can you hate? Man, the feels in that series. You've got to watch it, my friend.
But
I mean,
like the
inexcusable.
animation was like pretty subpar, and the sound quality was also really kind of stuffy. But I felt like instead of a hindrance, that actually kind of helped, because I mean it felt like it was like the show was just drowning like the character was. It was really kind of interesting. But
No. But it also has one of the best, like, ending theme songs ever.
yeah, it's pretty good. Are you talking about
Period.
the first one?
Yeah, the first ending theme, yeah. I don't normally sit
Uh,
through the ending theme song, but that was one of those shows that made me sit through the ending.
Yeah, it was
the ending
different.
theme.
It was definitely different. It wasn't like typical like I thought it was going to be. Like the opening was sort of typical, but
It was a little misleading, the opening.
yeah, it was definitely thematically different than the show, I think. But
that's what makes it good.
it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool
But
show.
and then I watched The Wind Rises, which was pretty cool. But that's a Ghibli movie.
That is an amazing movie.
It was pretty good.
You know, I enjoyed it.
It says a lot about Miyazaki, basically,
Yeah, I don't know. I
as
enjoyed it,
as
but
a
I
creator.
don't know. I wasn't in love with it. Spirited
Yeah,
Away, I
it
still
was-
hold like as my favorite Ghibli movie. Followed closely behind like Ponyo.
I never got to see Ponyo. I really didn't.
You're not missing much.
I watched it a few years ago.
I'll just take it.
Okay.
Shots fired. Not missing much.
Well, shots were fired when he didn't mention Princess Mononoke.
Nausicaa.
Oh, I'd actually totally
okay.
forgot about that. You're right. That's another amazing film.
Now, have you gone back and watched Spirited Away, like when you weren't,
I
just
haven't.
nostalgic
I
about
haven't.
it?
So I could it could certainly be the nostalgia talking, but I really loved it as a kid.
It's not bad. I don't think it's anything too amazing. It's interesting, but I think that's where I draw the line on it. Having actually seen it, multiple times.
Yeah, I wish there were more anime movies. They're like made for me. Like I love being able to just sit down
I've
and watch a
got
movie.
a bookmark for you, Josh, for later.
You see, that's the issue. Is I think we're on the total different spectrums. I want series to keep going goodly, not be 60 minutes of good or 2 hours of good. I need continuously goodness. Which one was it? The one with the spirit girl, like Guardian of the Spirit. I think.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know.
might what you're talking about.
Moribito.
Yeah, Moribito.
I know what you're
think
talking
that
about.
was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was 20 some episodes of just goodness. Like it was a 20 episode movie. That's how they should
Yeah,
be.
so that's what I'm into, right? It's a short series you can like watch in like a weekend.
Right.
I like those a lot more than like the shit that just drags on, like the Naruto's and the One Pieces or shit like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Like you've seen Higurashi no Eden, right? Eden of the
Yeah,
East.
yeah, I did. I love that.
That's like that almost had almost a movie feel, I want to say,
It did.
and it was really short. Like it was
Yeah,
short
it was
and good, and
like
you had to
10
follow it
episodes
up.
or so, right?
I think it was 13.
Oh, was it?
I want to say. I'm not totally sure. But it was, it was good. Or it had that kind of feel about it, right? It was very slow paced almost, but it got to its point. It did everything, and it concluded itself in a way that it didn't feel drawn out or too long or anything like that. And even these 20 episode series, they oftentimes can still feel drawn out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's what Heavenly's saying is kind of similar to a mindset I have, which is like the episode threshold, where once you get past a certain episode in those long series, it starts feeling samey. Like you kill off a big bad you introduced, and it's just like,
Yeah.
Right? You got to do something to keep it interesting.
Yeah, it's sort of like did you guys see Katanagatari?
Oh, that's an interesting
Yes.
one. I
Yes,
have
I
not
have.
seen it, but
Yeah, I love that
heard a
one.
lot
I've
about
probably rewatched it like 4 times.
It was a good series.
Yeah, and it was super short
I
too,
got
like in the 10 episode range. I think it was actually like 12 or 13, but
So I'm gonna defend or rather counter against you. The episodes were 45 minutes each, though. They were double the length
Yeah, they
of normal
were.
episodes.
yeah, but it's okay because it tricks me into thinking it's shorter.
Is that how it works?
to me, length doesn't matter as much as the package does. Like, that's what's important to me. I feel like as long as the package is whole and complete, then I'm pretty satisfied with the experience.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're splitting it up in 20
Link
minutes.
can play a big role, but of course, but I mean, there's always
The only thing I can say on Katana Gatari is Imoto best girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Josh agrees. It's official.
yay.
Now, if you want a good movie, I don't know if you've seen. I think it's Garden of the Words.
Oh, Garden of Words.
Yep, that's a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, the Makoto Shinkai films are pretty good. They're pretty popular in the community too.
So I tried to watch Garden of Words, and it looks gorgeous. But my issue was
Right.
I felt like the plot just wasn't there. I don't know. I feel like
I feel the same way.
It looked amazing.
Exactly.
Right? Animation was fucking phenomenal, but plot wise, I just wasn't into it.
Well, I mean, that's part of. It's ironic. The plot not being there, especially at the beginning, is that was part of the plot. Like, if you had the plot at the beginning, it defeated the purpose. I mean, they could have teased the plot, I guess, but that just changes your kind of perception on things, which I don't think they wanted to do to us. Have you seen that all the way through?
No, I gave up on it. I was like, fuck this.
Okay, so
My
so you
preferred
have, so you
film-
need to
I
finish
do.
it.
by
do.
him is 5
do.
centimeters. 5 centimeters per second to me was better, but I mean, a lot of people are gonna disagree with that, but I just
I mean,
liked it.
I think they're pretty different.
They're
both
they're
very
different and they're
out.
both definitely worth watching. But I mean,
If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick 5 centimeters per second,
mhm.
just because Garden of the Words was very slow,
Yeah, so
yeah.
and I can get so much better out of a manga for that kind of thing.
I took Garden of Words at so much face value. I was like, all right, so there's this guy who's got a foot fetish, obviously, and
Oh my god!
and like I just took it at like so much face value, and to me like everybody else is like getting all this stuff out of this movie, and I'm just like, it's just not getting me.
Like, you got to think though, David. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Someone out there in the world, like, their thing is making shoes. Like, that's what they're.
I
into.
know, it's like that part was really cool to me. the idea of it.
Yeah,
David,
Shootmaker
what
is
you're
amazing.
experiencing is what I experienced with a movie called Mind Game.
Oh, by the way, Josh, I dropped you a line. It's some movies.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
No, Mind Game is a very critically loved movie. I watched it. I was just like, I did what?
I've heard some things about Mind Game. Mind Game sounds like it could be fun.
It's something. It really is something. It's like the perfect movie to watch if you're metaphorically high.
Metaphorically.
What if you're actually high? Like, what if you watch it then?
I would assume it might be one of the best experiences you'll ever experience, but I don't know for sure.
We'll have to test that out on you, Exter.
No thanks. I'm good.
No? Okay.
I don't know. So, in my opinion, like with slower movies, I feel like it's hard to pull off well, right? Like I don't think Gardens of Words pulls it off well. Like it doesn't. It's okay to be slow if it's still interesting, but it just wasn't interesting to me in the beginning. In the same way that like Wolf Children was interesting to me, despite being slow in the beginning.
Right. Well, I mean, Garden of the Woods doesn't give you anything at the beginning, which I think is the
Right.
issue.
You're kind of just like, look at our sweet animation.
Right. You don't really get anything until the end, but at the same time, it's hard to keep someone interested in watching it if you don't have anything to tease them with.
You see, and that's the thing that got me too, is that it's slow, but it shouldn't be because it's 45 minutes long. But I don't know. Like, it's not even a very long movie.
No, to be fair, I could finish it pretty easily, but there's just so much other things I could be watching that I'm pretty quick to drop shit.
Like what? What are you watching? Tell us.
That I could be watching.
Or could be watching.
Yeah.
What could you be
Yeah,
watching?
what
We
could you
need
be
to know.
watching? What are you interested in seeing?
So I'm really interested in Parasite, obviously. But I'm also
Right.
interested in another show that's airing this season. It's Nanatsu. Is that it? Nanatsu something.
Nanatsu no
Yeah,
Taizai?
yeah, that looks really good to me. But I haven't
Yeah,
I haven't been
that's
able to
not
watch any of that yet. Not even the first episode. And I still need to watch like Psycho-Pass the second season. I really want to see that.
I personally would wait till it's done finish airing at this point because it just seems like it's going to be one of those seasons that is much better to marathon. It's very hard to watch weekly.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a little tricky to watch weekly.
I also need to see Ping Pong. It's supposed to be really short and amazing. I haven't watched it yet.
I really want to watch
I have a hard time
Ping Pong.
believing that thing is going to be amazing.
I don't know. Everyone has talked about it so far has had nothing but good things to say.
Yeah. Never mind. But I was gonna say something, but
Yeah, take it back. Whatever you're gonna say.
well, Holden told me it was pretty good.
Don't listen to Holden.
Yeah.
I'm Holden.
So I don't know. Yeah, guys.
Listen to
You
Josh,
heard it from
not
Josh
Holden.
first. Don't listen to Holden.
He hasn't even seen it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, bad joke.
But yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I do plan on watching it eventually. And lastly, I also
Yeah,
need
I
to
don't
finish
like
Sword Art.
the animation really that much.
Nah, me either. I think
Yeah, it is pretty different, but I don't think that's like as bad as what was it, Seed of Evil or whatever, Seeds of something.
Oh,
Evil.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like Rotoscope to Hell. but-
So yeah,
I see where you're
I've got
coming
a good bit. I've got a good bit to watch. So far behind.
I'm gonna tell you that you gotta prioritize Kiseju over everything else.
Oh yeah. It's
That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's the
That
series
is
good.
without a doubt where it's
that I
at.
hear. Is,
So how long is this series going to be? Did it end? With like the manga's ended, obviously, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
the manga's over.
I think it's gonna be like 20 something.
We are on the anime. We are about halfway. That's
So
right.
it's just gonna be one season and that's done. Oh,
Yes.
nice. That's my shit.
I love that.
There shouldn't be anything else, and if they did, it's because the producer or director, whoever, someone in their studio fucked up something. Right now it looks like they've got a pretty solid pacing, and it seems like they're gonna go all the way through the manga and end it. They haven't really changed anything, they actually animated a few things that I didn't expect them to animate, which was interesting.
Isn't it non-censored too, and everything?
It is non-censored. There's no censor.
No, actually, some parts of it are censored. I did notice. Like in the latest episode, there was a noticeable like black shading over some gore.
Yeah, but this is actually something that I like about censoring sometimes, is that sometimes it can make a scene work slightly better. Because there was a scene in Fate Zero Season 1, I think, where I watched the censored version first before the uncensored. It's when, whenever we're in Castor's lair, it's always like, it's got a lot of darkness around it. It feels very claustrophobic, and you don't actually see
It
what
feels
he's...
very, yeah.
And you haven't actually
It's
seen what he's
neat.
done, and you hear these sounds and moanings. It's just ugh, it's nasty. But once you see it revealed in the
Awesome.
uncensored version, you actually see it, but it loses some of the impact for me. It was just like, wow, for once I actually liked the censored version better than the uncensored. So I think censoring can sometimes make something better.
Well, there's definitely letting your mind figure something out. You know, people usually say the scariest things are the things you can't see,
Oh yeah.
because your mind is going to start imagining what's, you know, the most terrifying thing you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you weren't doing it consciously, but, you know, maybe subconsciously you were thinking about all the things that were going on, and that kind of built the suspense and the horror of it.
And then there's stuff like terraformers that just, you know, obliterate
Black circles.
censorship, you know.
Unwatchable.
I was so excited for Terraformers, and they ruined it.
It's unwatchable
Ruined
till
it.
Blu-rays.
Crunchyroll has some episodes censored. I don't know if they've continued it uncensored or what, but I know they did like 3 episodes uncensored. They fucking ruined it. They ruined it.
Well, this might make Heavenly and Leto a bit happy, but recently I've been doing what I've been currently watching is shoujo. Lots of shoujo.
Okay.
Yes.
I know you have.
But Lee
Shoujo's
might actually
cool,
recognize
man.
this particular title. I've been actually watching the currently airing show Ukami Shoujo.
Kamisho? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that show, to be honest. It's weird.
Well, I personally really like it, but it might be because I pretty much am like the main character. So, yeah.
I have to watch this now. I don't know anything about you.
The main character is like a complete and total sadist.
Lee, we need to talk like sometime. If that's how you are, we need to get something corrected.
Nah,
It-
I like myself.
No, it's got some really good funny moments, but I don't know. It's just I'm not quite feeling the characters as much as Lee, so maybe that's my problem.
I've read some of the manga. I went back and checked it, watched the first episode of the anime to make sure I knew what I was talking about. I definitely did read the manga. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's not my type of romance or shoujo.
I stopped watching the anime and read the manga because I couldn't wait anymore. It was just too good to be true, in my opinion.
Maybe
You see, that's the danger. That's the danger of diving into the manga world. You see, at first you just read random manga, and then second you start, continuing off anime, and then you watch an anime and you want to read the rest of it, so you go read it before the anime's over, and the next thing you know, you've already read manga that are getting animated. It's a very dark and vicious cycle.
I'm experiencing one of those right now with Maid-sama, working through the manga because the anime ended.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're going through the stages. Like, I've read most of the manga for anime this season. It's really sad.
Wow, you have so much
Mm.
time. I have like none.
You'd be surprised.
No, I just don't sleep.
No, you'd be surprised how easy it is to rip through a manga sometimes.
Oh yeah, I understand. Manga is like way different than anime because
Like, I've
Wait,
slept for
sad.
2 hours recently. Like, that was my sleeping schedule. I just don't sleep, and I get time.
Oh man. So, Brent, what have you been watching recently?
Okay, so I just got off like this huge anime burnout, and I finished Kuroko no Basuke season 1. I'm about 10 episodes into season 2 so far, and I'm really liking it.
I think season 1's better.
I liked season 1 a lot. It made
Yeah,
basketball way more fun than I ever thought watching basketball would ever be in my life.
Same.
I'm
like,
so
'cause-
white. I just basketball has just been scary for me, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Like I'm just having so much fun with Kuroko no Basuke right now.
Man, I
It's-
is it really that good? I hear
It's-
so many good
it's
things
pretty
about
great.
it, but sports anime
It's-
I can't imagine.
Well, it's
The
that's
first
what I
season
thought
is-
too. That's
is
exactly
better
what I
than the
thought. I
second
thought it was
season.
going to be like sports.
Yeah.
And, like it wasn't though. It wasn't. It was just like this is basketball with superpowers, and I was
Yeah,
like, this is
that's it.
totally wicked.
They're all hackers. That's what it is. They're all hackers.
I'm a bit of a sports junkie. A teeny bit.
Get out with your hockey. We don't-
Teeny bit.
Hockey is not a sport.
Hockey is like gladiatorial arena where the goal is to decimate your opponent by scoring more goals than them and making them feel it.
So everything
Yeah,
else got it.
I think you mean glorified ice skating.
Oh,
Or figure skating, one of the two.
that's fired.
No, but back to Kuroko no Basket. But Kuroko no Basket was kind of cool because I'm not a huge basketball fan, which for starters, being Canadian is like sacrilege. It's like, what? But, I mean, it was actually really cool just because the characters were really likable and the team
Mhm.
itself is very well developed. Each member kind of has their... Even if they don't get an episode to them, you get like enough characterization that you actually feel them when they're on the court. You actually know
Yeah.
they're there.
For sure.
So when you say that there's like powers, is it like Dragon Ball Z style?
Not really. It's
Like,
like
Kamehameha
it's-
dunking?
it's kind of
It's bullshit logic
Yeah.
powers.
it's kind of
That's
like
what it is.
it's kind of like real life abilities that are kind of over exaggerated.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like,
They take like simple things and then stretch them to the far, far ends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you got this one guy, his ability's called Eagle Eye, and he can like see the whole court from like an eagle's eye viewpoint, if that makes sense.
Okay. It's like
Yeah.
a spirit eye. Like he's not like
Kind
he's not
of
like
it.
jumping into the air and looking, right?
No.
no. It basically means like he can see the play before it actually
he's got
happens.
he's got like an enormous peripheral vision, so he can kind of pick up on what everyone's
Gotcha.
doing.
Yeah.
And I guess it lets him kind of build things out. But it's done in a way like, okay, large peripheral vision, not bad. Seeing the whole basketball court, okay, we're stretching it.
Right, right.
So being able to predict people's plays before they actually do it, even more ridiculous.
So like the
Right.
Kuroko
It's-
universe
it's like
doesn't
most things.
acknowledge these powers then, right? It's kind of just like
Like
They describe them as like each player has their own unique
Okay.
thing, and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
you know, not all players
Ba-
have it.
basically,
obviously,
it's
but
called
better
the Generation of
players.
Miracles. Kind of like the idea of like hockey. You've got Gretzky, Lemieux, where these players are like larger than
Man,
life, amazing
I don't
players.
even know what you're talking about now.
Some people will. But it's kind of that idea where these players are considered like, oh, they are the pinnacle of basketball players. Like,
Gotcha.
they've got.
Well, that's a bit different.
It's like they're
the-
considered
the
like
whole-
these Generation of Miracles, like these people who have like crazy, insane powers, like abilities in certain areas. In the Kuroko universe, this is considered realistic. In our universe, it's considered, you're just crazy.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It would be like, I mean, the whole thing is like there was one basketball team, one middle school. They raped every other team so hard that everyone loves basketball now.
Okay.
That's essentially what happened.
Okay.
Like that's what happened. Like they literally did so much ponage that basketball is mainstream.
Or at least in
Yeah.
Japan.
Though you know, on
Well, yeah, in Japan.
on the same line of sports animals, like have you guys seen Hajime no Ippo?
Yeah,
I want
to.
yeah, for sure. That's a bit more of the realistic
Is it?
kind of take on sports. It's a bit more realistic. It's not totally realistic because, for starters, the way Ippo does like the Dempsey role isn't actually the way it would have been done, but it's got enough realism that if you're actually a sports fan, you're gonna be able to jump right into Ippo and love it. And it's got enough fantastical elements and character moments that if you're just an anime fan, you'll be able to jump into it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've actually been considering that one and Ping Pong in terms of sports anime. Only because I've heard so many good things about both.
Ippo's a little hard to watch because it's definitely one of the longer shows out there, but
It is very long.
yeah, treat it as like a couple seasons instead of like
multiple seasons.
one giant show. There is an official season 2 and 3, but treat season 1 as if like the first 25 episodes is its own season, and then the next 25 is like its other.
Yeah, you're gonna go through, and I think that there's a sequel to that as well, and then another sequel. I think there's like 3 series or something.
It's
It's pretty long.
pretty long.
Yeah, I'm never watching
But
that.
No, it's fine. It's fine because Ippo is just one of those shows that's very easy to marathon. Like, you can get through, like, 25 episodes relatively easily, and you can stop there for a period of time and then go back to it, like, a month later and go through the next 25 really easily. It's a show that's really easy to jump into.
And, like, oh, it goes by so fast. If you think, like, shonen goes by fast, sports anime, whew, like, you'll go through, like, 5 episodes, you won't even realize it. Like, Kuroko no Basket just had, like, so much energy that I was just, like, so captivated by it. And
I have seen Kuroko no Basket multiple times, and I've enjoyed it every time I've watched it. But the second season, for its life, could not entertain me.
I think
I've seen about 3/4 of it, and it will not entertain me. Like, I've tried to watch it multiple times, it does not work.
I think that's because it feels like it's the middle season. It starts right where season 1 ended, and it kind of is the middle part before season 3. So you got, like, this part where you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to be able to watch it, but I'm only going to see so much of this before we get to the final chapter of it, which kind of makes it hard motivated to get through it. But the first part of season 2 was by far some of my favorite moments in the series, so it's got its moments. It's just...
You know, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the season 2. I think the first season's gung-ho. Watch it and enjoy it. If you like the second season, then all the more to you. But if not, I think that's fairly normal. Just because. The second season, like, there's so much basketball. Like, that's all there is in it. There's nothing else to bring the story together, I think. Yeah.
It really is match to match. And there's only, like, a few episodes of breathing room that go through backstory.
Right. And then those are all matches as well. I feel like I'm watching a card game.
Oh, whoa.
Card game
Josh.
on motorcycles.
Josh.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your favorite anime, and I'm seeing Rurouni Kenshin, right?
Yep, love it.
If you haven't seen Trust and Betrayal yet, dude, you are missing out.
I have seen it. I have.
Oh, you have? Holy crap. I've watched that recently, too, because I bought it, and it was so good.
Dude.
Have you seen the sequel to Rurouni Kenshin?
No, never happened.
No. So I watched Rurouni Kenshin, and then I watched Samurai X, the various movies.
Those were
yeah,
horrible.
they weren't. I don't know. I actually enjoyed Samurai X a lot, but the other movies were kind of meh.
Right.
I really like Trust and Betrayal, though.
Oh man, that
Trust and
is
Betrayal was pretty cool.
best thing Studio Dean has ever put on a cell. Period.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I'm looking at the anime
impressed.
page now, and I kind of want to watch it again. It was so good.
I've seen it a few times. It was good.
But again, this is something I watched as
it's
a kid, so like it could just be nostalgia talking.
No.
No, it is a good series. When you do watch it, I mean, I think you need to watch. I think it's Kyoto Hen. Just as it's the reanimation of the Kyoto arc done in a different manner, which is pretty awesome.
I've heard
Like,
mixed things on
pretty
Kyoto Hen.
Well, then you've heard it from stupid people. It's awesome.
I didn't realize that in the
things about it, too.
Japanese, Kenshin Himura was voiced by a female.
Yeah, that's actually fairly common, strangely enough.
Yeah.
The dubs were pretty good.
Yeah, I actually
for
like
it,
the
so-
dub. I watched the dub. But yeah, in the dub it was a guy, Richard Cancino. His one role.
What you gotta do is you gotta go watch the sequel.
I'm gonna be honest, I did not like the sequel at all.
Why didn't you like it? Did you dislike it because it was bad, or did you dislike
It was kind of a
because
bit
it
of both.
messed with your feels?
No, it was a bit of both. Well, not really the mess with the feels part, because this is this is major spoiler territory for Rurouni Kenshin Reflection, or however you want to talk about it. But to me, there's two major arcs to that movie. There's the flashback arcs, which take place of it's the actual sequel part to where the anime left off, which is one of the best arcs in Rurouni Kenshin. Period. Almost as good as Trust and Betrayal.
Are you
Good.
talking about the Kyoto arc?
Not Kyoto. It's after like the entire Rurouni Kenshin series is over. It takes place literally with one of the characters from Trust and Betrayal. It's like a complete tie back.
So you are talking about Reflection.
I am talking about Reflections.
Okay, just make sure.
And then you've got the current timeline story, which is, I get what they're trying to do with it, and I get what they're trying to work with, but it's just, it does not work because it's not so much it doesn't have a happy ending, it's so much that it doesn't have the ending that the characters deserved, period. And
So
I
I'm
understand
gonna
the
tell
idea
you-
that, these are characters that, let's be honest here, the way they get their ending is like, that's how real life is. Like, people don't always get the ending they deserve. But
No, I'm not even gonna swing that. I'm gonna go, and we're gonna, like I said, like he's just said, we're in major territorial spoilers. So yeah, you might want to close your ears if you really care. But Kenshin's son mentions it that his father always wandered off a lot. Even when he passed the reverse blade on, he would leave every once in a while. He would leave for disasters and stuff like that. Like, it was always a thing that happened. And in the same way, when someone called him, and when they requested his assistance during the the World War, it was the same thing. He was the one who wandered off back into that, and that's because that's what Kenshin. That is Kenshin essentially. He's this person who can't forgive himself.
yeah,
And
but
even though he's moved on, it's still there, and he does settle down to a point, but he still has a lot of issues that
but
aren't
I
resolved.
also dislike the way they handled Karu.
Karu, yeah.
I also dislike the way they handled Karu in the movie. Not so much like her characterization in the early parts, but definitely in the later parts. I mean, it's a decent movie. It's fine on its own, but it does not feel like it's the proper bookend to the Rurouni Kenshin series. It feels like disjointed because you have the past story and the present story, and both of them are vying for attention and time, and it does not gel together in the way that I appreciate it as. And to be honest, I'm not the only one who was kind of feeling this way, because I actually did some research after the movie, after I finished watching it, and even the manga author said, I don't like the way the movie handled it.
No, yeah, it's he wasn't the one who did it, but I think that the ending I think it's amazing because in a lot of ways it represents how Kenshin became who he is. Like,
Yeah, but
he continued living out his life
yeah,
the same way he had always had. Like, nothing changed about Kenshin. Even though he tried to settle down, even though he tried to move on, it still continues.
well, I'm also talking about the death.
Well, I don't see the issue with the death.
I have a major problem with it.
What's
It's
the issue?
totally not Kenshin.
Why?
Oh man, I feel so bad for saying this because this is major league spoilers for everybody in earshot right now. Kenshin died because of a disease.
So what's wrong with it?
It's
It's
completely un-Kenshin.
No, you gotta remember though. It's like
This is Kenshin.
No, you gotta remember who was
Dying
it?
sick
I can't
in a bed.
remember.
This is
Like,
not.
you gotta. I'm trying to think of it. Who was it? The Megumi. She also said before, like during the main series, even though everyone's looking at Kenshin as this superhuman, when it comes down to it, Kenshin is still human.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
He may surpass things, but she even talks about like it's the strain it
just
puts on his
don't-
body and the constant fighting. You got to consider Kenshin is like
I
20 years
understand that,
older
but here's the
than
thing though,
Karu as well.
is that it's totally not Kenshin, and that's what I'm talking about. These are the endings these characters not deserve. I'm not saying Kenshin deserved to die a noble death on the battlefield. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is Kenshin did not deserve to die at a young age because of a disease.
He's not young though. He's got to be pushing 50s, if not lower in the movie or higher in the movies.
It's just
You got to remember Kenshin is old.
It's just something that I just personally did not appreciate in the movie, and I feel a lot of my problems come from the future part and the fact that the past parts aren't nearly as focused on as they should be. As I said, this is like the best arc of the Rurouni Kenshin series was the past arcs, like one of the best, period. And it only got really glanced over.
To sum it up, in the main series, Kenshin is 28.
As I said, it's just an issue I had with the movie itself, and I'm not the only one who felt this way, because if you actually read the manga part of it, it's
It's different, yes.
so good. It's like that is the proper way to end the
No,
series.
I understand that, but it's
I did watch Reflection first before reading the manga, so it's not the manga
Again-
coloring my perception of the ending.
Kenshin is 10 years older than Kaoru, and Yahiko is almost probably 5 years younger than Kaoru. Kenshin is significantly older than everyone else, and Kenshin has also he's been beaten down a lot. Like
All right.
there's
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something that I didn't appreciate. And I'm sure a lot of other fans didn't appreciate. Even the manga author didn't appreciate. So it's one of those things that will always divide fans on this movie.
Yeah, so
It'll just be that.
I don't know.
It'll be a very decisive movie.
My thoughts on it is I like the fact that it was realistic, right? So, I mean, obviously we know he's old, yeah, but also like think about the time period, right? Like that's gonna be a good age to get to, right? Like we don't have good medicine, we don't have good doctors at the time, right?
Not to mention he went through 2 wars, so
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's an appropriate ending to someone that was, for the most part, almost supernatural, right? It kind of just tied it back together. It kind of just tied it all together again at the end, where we saw him vulnerable, right? For the real first time throughout the whole series, he was truly, totally vulnerable, and I think that's humbling in a sense, right?
I think so.
I don't know. So
I'm in agreement.
I mean, I can see where Wexler's coming from, because it's like, especially like if you idolize him as I did when I was younger, that's not the way you want to see him go, right? Because that's not the way anyone wants to go. But I like the fact that it's very realistic, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it, but I definitely don't hate it.
It's just I don't hate the movie either. I think it's got a lot of strong points, but it's a very decisive ending, and in my opinion, I just personally prefer the manga path of it, and so that's why I kind of treat the movie as the movie never happened. You've got the manga.
I
to
agree
continue
with
from
you.
there.
I feel like they should have added another arc to the main series, which animated that final arc that is in the manga. The one.
Mm-hmm.
And then they should have done Reflections the same, not necessarily the exact same, but they should have done Reflections as well to that. I feel like that would have maybe added a little more breathing room, because I think it sucks that we didn't get that last arc, obviously, and that it was kind of all shoved in, But it still would have been awesome if we could have gotten it.
I may have even liked the actual ending to Kenshin as a character better if it was better done in the movie. Like,
In what
if
regards?
there was enough time to fully develop it within the narrative, instead of having it share focus with this arc where whenever you see it, you're like, oh, that's awesome. And you're like back to
Like what, maybe like an hour and a half instead of 40 minutes, that kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe. That may have worked better. I don't know. As I
They,
said,
they did push a lot of what went on with Kenshin and all that stuff, but it's hard to do that in 40 minutes,
yeah.
And I think that's why you kind of have to take the initiative to kind of get yourself in the mindset, get yourself into the mood of it, in order to really kind of get the full hit and impact of it.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's the
Speaking of
follow-up to
40
Trust and
minutes,
Betrayal.
We're sort of pushing an hour here, so
We definitely
Yeah.
are.
Is David calling the give up card? Is that what's going
I'm
on?
not calling the give up
Yeah.
It's
card.
actually me calling the give up card. I gotta head out.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Alright.
Someone's calling the give up card.
So let's create a good segue here. So, as I said, it's a decisive movie. Even fans who like the movie aren't entirely sure about it. As I said, it's just one of those things that's always going to be decisive. But outside
It's
of that,
awesome. Watch it.
it really is up to you. Continue reading the manga or watch the Reflections. Up to you.
Or do both.
So, to segue into this was a very long episode of the Humcast. In fact, including minicast, you're going to have a lot to enjoy over the next almost 2 hours of casting. So, with me today was, of course, Brent, the 42 Gamer.
Japanese lunchtime rush.
Lido.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Heavenly.
Goodbye.
And David.
See you guys later.
And our very special guest, Josh.
Thanks for listening.
This was Humcast, signing out.